Talking Renforth Resources today. Renforth trades as RFR in the CSE in Canada, RFHRF, OTC in the States. I've got Nicole Brewster here. She is the head treasure hunter, president, and CEO of Renforth. Looks like you're back out in the field there at Surimeau and added some properties in Ontario. So a whole lot going on. Nicole, good to see you. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. And the guys are back in the field. They're back doing their thing at Surimeau, actually.
Yeah.
And we're right now. It's kind of exciting. They're documenting new pegmatites. We know the property is littered with pegmatites because of where it is, and they're documenting new pegmatites, taking samples, and working with actually an expert in pegmatite and lithium exploration, whom they communicate with every night after a day in the field. So pegmatites, spodumene is the mineral we're after, and lithium is the product. So it's quite exciting, and it's only a facet of the story at Surimeau, but it's the one we're working on right now.
Yeah, obviously the play there, lithium, a lot of demand for it here. Talk about your quest here. You talk about the property being full. Market's not paying attention. Nothing you can do about that. But I see the excitement in you here. So you added a couple properties in Ontario. Yeah, to talk about, I guess, pull back a little bit and talk about the overall scope of Renforth here and what you want to accomplish for those who want to treasure hunt with Nicole Brewster.
For sure, good idea. So Renforth, junior exploration company, and we're active explorers. There's not many of us out there. We literally call it boots on the ground, because there are boots on the ground looking at the rock that we can see, or pulling back moss, overblown tree trunks, kicking the dirt back and checking out the rocks, because that's the first step for us. We have many properties, but we're kind of unique in how we're positioned. Our treasury holds a significant amount of stock due to a property that I sold a while ago. So that gives us a financial bulwark against the market going up and down. And we have a gold deposit. We have a gold deposit beside Canada's largest open pit gold mine. We've only started to outline it. We're still very shallow. We're very near surface, but it's got verified ounces of gold in the ground. So that has intrinsic value. We can value that. And again, it's a bulwark against the market. It's an asset that we may do a bit more work on, but ultimately we would probably sell that asset in order to create money to put into our next big thing. It's Surimeau. Surimeau is a vast property. It's 330 square kilometers in size. It's 4 times the size of the island of Manhattan. Surimeau has several areas of mineralization, and it's what we call polymetallic, many metals. We have a copper discovery in the north. We have several occurrences of gold on the property and gold targets. We have a giant 20-kilometer long structure that gives us 2 interlayered types of mineralization. We could go into all the technical, but we won't, because it's fairly boring. But what it means is we've got nickel, cobalt, platinum, and palladium, which are ridiculously expensive precious metals. That's one hand. The other hand is zinc, copper, gold, and silver. And they're doing this underground, and they start at surface. We've drilled it. We've only drilled off 2.2 kilometers in the middle and 800 meters in the western end. Lots of work still to do, but continuously mineralized on surface. It's behind me, actually. That's 20 kilometers. It's a pronounced geophysical signature, and it occurs elsewhere on the property, the same system. So we don't know the relationship of it. It could have many iterations on the property, many occurrences on the property. The last thing, which is what we're doing right now, that's super cool at Surimeau, the bottom of the Surimeau property is something called a batholith, big intrusive granite, but it's called a fertile batholith because it hosts lithium, spodumene with lithium. It has a 10-kilometer area of influence where pegmatites can be spat out of this thing and have spodumene in them. So we have documented pegmatites, and it's super cool, and it's crazy actually. We're using hyper detailed satellite photos, and we're identifying granite in between the trees. And the guys are going to the granites and finding pegmatites, because you can't see them. You can't see them on the ground. On ground level, these trees are huge. You can't see through the trees. So we've gone above and we're looking down. Active exploration. We don't know what we'll find. I can't tell you what we'll find because it's hunting hidden treasures, as you said, right? But it's a process. And we have many other properties in the company, but they're all standing behind Surimeau. Surimeau's the first and foremost exploration property. The gold deposit I don't consider exploration because we're not looking for the gold. We just simply have to do more work on that property. So there you go. That's it in a nutshell. But I mean, we're property deep. I think behind Surimeau, we have something like another 7 or 8 properties. So the idea is to mature the properties to a point, the business case. We do the hard work. We do the exciting work. We do literally the dirty work. And we are out there trudging around basic exploration. We develop the property to a point and we would sell the property. So, and then we do it again and again and again.
Doing all the early work, all the underappreciated work. No one will ever know you did it when it's done, but you could make treasure hunters with you a lot of money by doing this. So yeah, let's build an investment thesis here for the company here. So a lot of properties. You already demonstrated the fact that you can sell properties, built a treasury. Not sure the term you use, but sounds like you're in okay shape there. So yeah, what Surimeau's the baby? What do you expect to get out of Surimeau for all those treasure hunters coming in with you? What kind of work will be done? And like you said, the idea is to find a prospective buyer, and then Nicole Brewster gets boots on the ground back out there and does it again, right?
Correct. Renforth's pretty de-risked. The treasury and the gold deposit or bulwark is the term I use. I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly anyway, but it's the bedrock of the company, the assets, and that de-risks the company. So the first thing to know is there's zero chance that Renforth's going anywhere but up, hopefully. So there's no risk of the company. Now, there's no risk at Surimeau. We know Surimeau's mineralized. The question mark is how well mineralized. We know that there's 20 kilometers of this nickel zinc intermingled system. We know there's gold occurrences. We know there's a copper discovery. We know there's pegmatites. The question mark with the pegmatites is there spodumene? That's the question mark we're trying to answer. And if that is there, that's a big deal because we are fairly close to the newest Piedmont Lithium took an interest in the newest lithium story in Quebec. It's fairly close to us. So what can people expect from us? Well, it's exploration for now, boots on the ground, because it's the best time of year to do it. And as you're all very aware, we had a significant fire activity in that part of Quebec earlier this year. So we're late getting started. So why am I telling you that? Because I'm an exploration company that wasn't exploring. So the stock drifted, helped by one shareholder who decided to push it down. And he's been exited. You saw a huge print on Tuesday. That was him coming out of the market. So that overhang in the market, the technical overhang, has been removed. Now we're back in the field. And that means we can generate news. We know we will have success because we know the property is mineralized. How much success will we have is the only question mark. It's not will we find it. So what does that mean to an investor? Well, if we find spodumene, the property changes its complexion entirely. If we find gold on surface, because we're still beside Canada's largest open pit gold mine, things change again. If we manage to trace the copper discovery over more than the 165 meters that's exposed on surface, we have a virgin copper discovery. That's unheard of. If we find what's called a VMS, which is an old subsea volcano that carries base metals, zinc, copper, if we find that VMS that we see the smoke, we see hints of, Then VMS discoveries are few and far between. And why are they important? Because they're decades-long mines. And these are base metals, and they're called base metals for a reason. We need them. And then you can build a business around these metals because the occurrence is predictable. So what do investors have to look forward to? The continuation of the prospecting. We'll have snow up there. I hate even saying that word right now, but we'll have snow up there within 2 months. So we have a window here to maximize. You'll also see an exploration company back to doing what it does best. After that, we'll be looking at drilling in the fall. And that's a different story itself. So I write a newsletter, we put out press releases, I talk to people like you. You can come along on the journey. That's what you can do. You can be part of it. Maybe you'll learn something along the way. You'll at least have something to be a part of. Growing a story. Critical metals, we all know what they're needed for. We all know there's not enough of them out there. And the beauty of Surimeau, I drive to it from my house. It's 7 hours drive from my house. Provincial highways, hydroelectric power lines on the property, and no people live there. Perfectly positioned, cheap to explore, and already known to be mineralized. So there's lots of upside.
Okay, certainly much to pay attention to. We'll keep our eye on the wire and look to get back together when you do have some more results for us. So again, that's Nicole Brewster. She is the president and CEO, Renforth Resources, call sign RFR on the CSE in Canada, RFHRF OTC in the States. Nicole, thanks for that very in-depth update on activities at Renforth, and we'll certainly look forward to checking back in when you have some more news to report.
I look forward to speaking to you again.